Hello viewers, welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you are new around here. I almost forgot my own intro there for a second, but we're going to get straight into this video. Today, we are doing something a little bit different, a tier list as you can see. I'm not trying to bring back the tier list thing like people are doing at the moment with how good players are and putting them in a category, because I don't think that I have the voice to be commenting on people's gameplay. I really don't, especially pro players. So instead, I'm going to comment on their name, and I'm going to be listing these players on this tier list purely by how cool I think their name is. That's it. It's purely just my opinion. So yeah, we're just going to get straight into it, and we're going to go quite literally from here at the bottom with Toasty. So Toasty is first up. How cool do I think the name Toasty is? Well, it's not just a name. So if you haven't already noticed, this bottom tier is purely just going to be for players that have made their tags purely their actual name. They're just going to go there. I can't really rate those because it's just a name, and I'm not rating people's actual real names, so that just seems a bit harsh. So yeah, Toasty is first up. I don't mind the name Toasty. I don't think it's bad. Well, none of these are bad necessarily, but I don't think it's towards the lower end. We're going to put it like straight in the middle. Toasty at B. I think that's fair. I might kind of review some at the end, but Toasty B, that seems like a decent name to me. It's not a bad name. It's not the most amazing name, but it's not a bad name at all. And S plus at the top here, for me, is going to be reserved for the ultimate names. Okay, maybe even just one name. Who knows? We'll see when we get there. Next up is Drew. Is that a name, Drew? I don't think it'd be spelt like that. Or is it Drewy? Am I even saying it right? Who knows? Drew could technically be a name. It's not spelt like a name. I don't think it's spelt like that with a double E, although I could be completely wrong. It's not really a common name over here in the UK, so I'm not really too familiar with it. We're going to go with it not being a normal name and put it in C. I don't think it's necessarily bad, but it's just nothing special. Next up is Zombie Poop Shark. Now, I'm going to go with it as Zombie Poop Shark and not ZPS. Yes, I say Z, not Z, ZPS. But we're going to go with it for what it stands for, Zombie Poop Shark, in case you didn't know. And obviously it's a funny name. Do I like it? Yeah, I mean, it's funny, right? But yeah, do you know what? We'll stick it in A, because it's just completely different, isn't it? You know? So we'll stick it in A for now. Maybe we'll come back to that. Ajax is next up. I think Ajax is a pretty cool name. And I think that's worthy of an A as well. So we're going to just chuck it straight in A. I think Ajax is a pretty cool name. Gimmick next up. For me, one of the best names, one of the OG names. I think Gimmick is a really cool name. It'd be nice if the G was capitalized, but I don't think he capitalizes the G. That just kind of annoys me a little bit, but I'm just weird like that. Yeah, but Gimmick, for me, is an S tier name. I think Gimmick is a really cool name. And it has a meaning as well, you know? So yeah, it's just a cool name. Adoom is next up. Now, I don't know if this is someone's name. This is where things are going to get tricky, because obviously with different countries and stuff, they're going to have some of their names that just aren't names really at all in my country. So I don't know if they are names or they're not names. Adoom could be a name. I don't think it is. We're just going to go with that it isn't. And it sounds pretty cool, Adoom. I think it sounds pretty cool. So we'll go B. I think B's fine for Adoom. Buddy next up. There's not much to say about this. I mean, this is technically a name as well, really, isn't it? But we're going to go with this one. I'm only going to go with the ones that it's the names where they are quite literally names. Like, let's find one, like Ahmad, for example. That's probably just going to go in, it's just a name. Because it is just a name, isn't it? So yeah, that's what we're going to put in there, probably. Buddy, we're going to go put that in... we're going to put that in D, actually. Yeah, I'm not a massive fan of that one. I mean, it's not bad. D isn't bad, by the way. It's just that I'm not a fan, okay? It's completely my opinion. Diaz next up is also a name. We're going to chuck that in, it's just a name, because Diaz is just a name. Taroko is the next name up. I quite like the name Taroko. I think, is it worthy of A? Or is it a B? We're going to put it in B, Taroko. No, we're going to put it in A. I think it's worthy of an A, Taroko. Shock next up. Quick name, fast name, one syllable name. Some of the one syllable names are really good. I quite like them. Shock is one of them that I do quite like. We're going to put that in A as well. I feel like I'm putting too much in A at the moment. But there are 2 tiers above A, so it's not too bad. Alraz next up. I assume Alraz isn't a name. It sounds more like a place. Sounds like Alcatraz. But yeah, Alraz next up. It's a pretty cool name. I don't think I like it as much as Shock or Taroko. So we're going to put it in B. I think it's above these 2 here. Stealth next up. Stealth's just a cool name, isn't it? Stealth's a cool word, I feel like. Anyway. So it's always going to be a pretty cool name. So we're going to put that in A. I'm going for these reasonably quick because we'll literally be here all day otherwise. So yeah, I hope you don't mind that. But let me know what your opinions are as well as I go along. Comment below. Astromic next up. I think Astromic's a pretty cool name. And that can go in S with Gimmick. Both ending in ick. Maybe it's an ick thing that I like. I don't know. Kalirs next up. I think Kalirs is also a pretty cool name. I like that it's not just killers, it is Kalirs. Like, it sounds better in my opinion. And because of that, I think I'm going to put this in S as well. Gimmick, Astromic, Kalirs. Am I happy with that? I might have to move some of these A's down and some S's down at the end. We'll carry on. Mossen next up. Mossen's an okay name, I think. I don't think it's... I mean, it might be really cool in his country, do you know what I mean? From where he's from. So I do apologise, but obviously it is my opinion. So I'm going to stick Mossen in C. I don't think it's not like it's not cool. It's just... C, I guess, kind of stands for just cool, right? And then B for, I don't know, better. I don't know. Bems next up. Bems. Is that... well, no, it's not going to be a name, is it? It might be a short version of his name, I guess. Bems, that can go in C as well. Nothing special in my opinion. Kyo TG1. Now, when you say it like Kyo TG1, it just kind of sounds not that great. But when you know what TG1 stands for, it makes it cooler. Kyo the Great One is actually what that stands for, if you didn't know. And I think that's really cool. I do think that's cool. So we're going to put that in A. I like Kyo the Great One. I think that's a good name. Sad next up. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what sad means. I believe he's from Brazil, so they speak Portuguese, if I'm not mistaken. Sad might mean something else in Portuguese. Here it means that you're not happy, basically. So D, yeah. KV1, D, not a fan. KV1, yeah, just again, that might stand for something else in Portuguese. I mean, he's from Brazil, I believe, as well, so that might stand for something else. So I do apologize. You know, obviously I'm from the UK, which means I have absolutely no idea about any other country or anything like that. Or yeah, I'm not there when it comes to other countries and other languages. You know, I don't know much, and that's just typical of someone from the UK, and you Americans as well. You're very much the same. Knight. I quite like the name Knight. I think that's quite a cool name. I think that's worthy of a B. Maybe an A. Maybe I'll come back to that one. Oh, Khalid. See, now, is this just a name, or does the O kind of makes it not a name at the start, in my opinion. So we're not going to put this as a name. We're going to rate this one. And I think it's a pretty cool name. Oh, Khalid. It's a strong name. If it was just Khalid, I'd probably put it in. It's just a name, but literally because of the O, I'm gonna rate it and put it in. You know what? We're gonna put it in A. I think. Yeah, we'll put it in A. TRK 511. See, I'm not a fan of the ones with the numbers at the end. I know that a lot of these will just quite literally be, how do I explain it? Like their first ever names. You know, all of us had some sort of silly number at the end of our name. Maybe it was our year, the year that we were born, or our birthday, or whatever it is. Yeah, so because of that, I'm sorry, TRK. I've got to put it in D. Ahmad, sorry, you're just a name, so I'm not going to rate it because that'd be a bit harsh. Roas, up next. Now, I quite like the Saudi names, like Mossen, where they use the number and it creates a different noise. Now, I'm not too clued up on that, but I know they use numbers in their names because they actually say the numbers how we would say a certain letter in English. So some of the numbers create an S sound. I believe the 9 creates an S sound. Roas. Mossen is sort of like an O or sound, I think. If I'm completely wrong, I do apologize. Correct me in the comments if you know, actually. I'd like to know. I genuinely would like to learn. But Roas is an okay name. Similar to Mossen. Actually, do you know what? We're going to bump Roas up to B. I quite like it. Kami up next. don't believe this is his second name or anything. Kami, Cami, I'm not so sure how to say it. I hear everyone say Kami. I would probably say Cami, but mostly everyone says Kami, so we're going to go with Kami. I'll try and say it how he says it. Kami's a pretty cool name. B. To Die For. For me, this might be the first one that goes in S+, because I think it's a really cool name. And I like the 2 and the 4 as well. So yeah, like before the word, you know, and then die in the middle. Yeah, I think I'm going to put that in S+. Again, I might come back at the end and change. I don't want to put too many in S+. So I might come back at the end and change it. But To Die For me is a really cool name. It might get bumped down. I don't know yet. Like I said, we'll come back. Darth is up next. And these SSA players do have pretty cool names, I must admit. They have been very good with their names. So Darth, for me, or is it S or is it A? Is it S or is it A? We're going to put it at the top of A. I wasn't going to do this. These aren't necessarily in order, like in the A tier, for example. They're not necessarily in the order that I'd have them, but we're going to put Darth at the top of A because it's kind of borderline S and A for me. Virtuoso, next up. I like the name Virtuoso. It has meaning behind it as well. The meaning escapes me, but I know it has a meaning behind it. I know Virtuoso is a word for something. But obviously, clearly I'm uneducated and I can't remember. So Vert for short, but Virtuoso for me is worthy of an A rating. Realize is a pretty cool name. And I would probably, would I put it in A or B? Realize. It's tough because I'm putting so many in A and I don't really want to do that. But that tends to be the thing with these tier lists. You end up putting a lot of whatever it is you're rating in one tier. Realize for me, we'll put it at the top of B for now because I might bump it up to A at the end. Fever is the next name. Fever. I like the name Fever actually. It's a pretty cool name. Do I think it's worthy of an A? Yes, I do. We're going to put Fever in A. I quite like that name. Amphis up next. Amphis. Do I like Amphis? Do I like the name Amphis? Not too sure. I would put it in the same as B's. So I might have to put it in C. I don't think a lot of people are going to like that one, to be honest. We'll put it at the top of C. Yeah, it's just my opinion. You know, I'm just not... C isn't bad. It's just, I don't see it as a really cool name, you know. Torsos, on the other hand, I think has always been a pretty cool name. And so that's why we're going to put Torsos in S. Super Lucky next up. Rolls off the tongue nicely. Super Lucky, I think that's it does roll off the tongue quite nicely. So we're going to put that in B. I think that's a pretty cool name. I do believe his name is Lachlan. So technically that his name is a part of it, but because it's not just a name, we are going to rate it similar to O'Callaghan. It's not just his name, you know, there is a slight difference to his name in there. So yeah, Scrub next up. I've never been a fan of the name Scrub, to be honest, so we're going to put that in C. Banana Head obviously is hilarious. That's the next name we have here at the bottom. I don't necessarily, I think it's a funny name. So it's probably worthy of a B. It's not my favorite, but it's funny, so that bumps it up a bit. Snowy next up. Again, quite like the name Snowy. We're definitely going to be shuffling these around because I've just looked again and I'm thinking, right, that wouldn't go there with that name that I quite like. So yeah, there's a few here that I'm going to shuffle around at the end, so stick around if you want to see that. But Snowy is the next one. Snowy's going to go in B as well. I quite like the name Snowy though, so we're going to put it further up. We'll put it behind Realize. Hawk. Next up, I believe that's how you say it, Hawk. Not a fan, personally. I'm just going to put it in D. Sorry, Hawk. You're probably not watching, so it's fine. Relating Wave. I think this one is going to get mixed opinions. I think some people will like the name Relating Wave. Some won't. I think it's somewhere in the middle, personally. I actually think it's somewhere bang in the middle. We're going to put it in C for now, actually. I was going to put it in B, but we're going to put it in C. But I might bump that up. So let's put Relating Wave at the top of C if we can. There we go. Because I don't think it's necessarily a bad name. I just kind of want to fit it somewhere with the other names in B. So we'll come back to that one. Extra next up. I am quite a fan of the smaller names. Like the sort of 2-syllable names, if you like. Aside from Astromic, as you can see. But that's just me. That's just my opinion. Extra for me is a pretty cool name. I like the name Extra. It's easy to say. Sounds cool. Looks cool as well. I think it looks cool, which is another thing. So that's going to go in A. A Seiko Up next, almost kind of is a different way of saying Psycho, if you like. I mean, some people used to call him Psycho when he first came in. I think his name's Seiko. Everyone says Seiko, so I say Seiko. So we're going to run with Seiko, which I think is a cool name. Again, quite a short name, but I think it's worthy of an S tier rating. Ixo up next. I quite like the name Ixo. I think that's okay. We're going to put it in B for now, but that might be one that we bump up. So we're going to put it at the top, towards the top of B with Snowy and Realize. Cash up next. Now, I was saying that I'm usually a fan of the single sort of syllable names. This one, not so much. Not so much. Again, none of these names are bad, okay? None of them are bad. Well, maybe there might be one or two, but I'll tell you when I think they're bad. But none of the names are bad. Cash isn't a bad name at all, so we're going to put it in C. It's definitely more than D. I just don't think it can go in B with some of these names that I've got in B at the moment. Muck by 8 next up. Now, I don't really know what this means. I'm probably a complete idiot, and I probably should know what it means. Maybe there is a meaning behind it, and I've just never found out. But he has got MRB capitalized. Maybe that means something. But again, his name's in it. But it's not just his name, so I'm not going to put it in. It's just a name. I'm not a fan of it, personally. Muck by 8. It's kind of, I mean, it rolls off the tongue, I guess. So we're not going to put it in D because it's not completely. It's not. I don't completely dislike it. So we'll put it in C for now. Atomic with a K up next. So Atomic with a K, EU Atomic. I think it looks cooler with a K at the end than a C. We haven't rated the other Atomic yet. I assume he is on this list. I mean, it is an RLCS list, so he should be here. But we're going to put Atomic with a K in A. That was a pretty cool rhyme, if I do say so myself. Next up. Can't actually see the names next up. There we go. Dorito is next. Dorito sounds like a pretty cool name. I mean, in the UK, Doritos are a crisp, or chips as Americans call it. It's just a make. You probably have them in America as well, I'd imagine so. But yeah, if you don't, then you know. I don't know if they're in any other countries. I'd imagine they are. Dorito is basically, I mean, they're quite nice. But we're rating their name, so it doesn't matter. Dorito, I'd put in B, I think. Yeah. I'm happy with B. I'm happy with B. We're running out of a little bit of space here because the tier list is getting wider, so we can't see the names. So we can't see the S plus at the moment, unfortunately. Catalysm is next. Is this worthy of an S plus? Catalysm. I do like the name Catalysm. I think that's a cool name. It's not the easiest name to say. It's also not the shortest name either, so I'm kind of going back on what I've said. But I do think Catalysm is a cool name. If you say it like I say it, Catalysm, is easier to say. We're going to put it in S because I do like the name. I do like that name. That is cool. Ivan is technically a name. Unfortunately, it's just Ivan, isn't it? But there's no A, so technically it isn't. It's hard to say. I'm going to assume that's his name. I should have probably done some research. We're going to put Ivan in. It's just a name because I wouldn't feel right putting it anywhere. It might, you know, if it's his name, it's not very fair for me to be rating people's names, you know? Just doesn't seem right. Tox, next up. Short, simple, but effective name. Tox. Not the coolest name, but also not the most uncool name. So we're going to put it in B with pretty much everything else, where B and A is full up at the moment. Monkey Moon next. A lot of people don't really like this name, I don't think. Monkey Moon. It is a very strange name, I must admit. At least in English it is. How do I feel about the name Monkey Moon? I'm actually not too sure, you know. I'm going to put it in C for now. We'll put it at the top of C. We'll put it just behind Relating Wave, because I think Relating Wave is a cooler name than Monkey Moon. Do you know what? We're going to put Relating Wave in B, actually. There we go. I may even put it in A. I don't know how I'm going from C to A, but yeah, we're putting Relating Wave in B right now. Maybe we'll come back to that at the end. Fairy Peak up next. I've always thought the name Fairy Peak was pretty cool. I don't know why. I just do. I think it looks cool as well. He's the only one with an exclamation mark in his name, I believe, out of every player. Unless I am having a big brain meltdown right now. But I believe he is. So Fairy Peak is a pretty unusual name. And I think it's worthy of an A. I like the name Fairy Peak. Acro is next up. I'm not sure about this one. I should have said at the beginning that I'm kind of looking at the name as well. I'm going by how it looks as well as how it sounds. I probably should have said that at the beginning. Acro for me goes in C. I don't think it's one of the coolest names, but it's not necessarily a bad name. Next up is Gom. I think Gom's a really cool name. I think that's really cool. For me, that's going straight in S. Gom up here. I don't think you can see my cursor, which is annoying. I don't know how I've managed to turn my cursor off, so you can't see it on the I can see it obviously, but the recording can't, and I don't know how I've done it because I'm an idiot. So I would like it back on. If anyone can tell me how, that would be great. I am using OBS, so that's probably what it is that's done it. But yeah, Gom in S. KDOP next up. I think KDOP's a pretty cool name as well. I think I'll put KDOP in A for now. We'll put it near the top of A with Fairy Peak. We'll put Fairy Peak at the top of A as well, and Atomic and Extra. There we go. Yeah, I like that. I like those names. Good names. Chaussette next up. Don't believe Chaussette is a name. I don't know what Chaussette stands for. I would imagine it stands for something in French, obviously. Not too sure what it stands for. I didn't want to do too much. I didn't want to go into this too much, dude. I just wanted to do it how I see it, you know? How an Englishman likes me see it. Like an idiot like me, I should say. An Englishman that has absolutely no idea about any other country or anything like that, or any meanings in other countries. So Chaussette for me, I'm just going to put it in B. I'm not too sure about it, to be honest, so that's why I just kind of put it in the middle somewhere, I guess. Casio next up. I think Casio is a pretty cool name. I like the sound of that. We're going to put it straight into A. Easy to say as well. Pretty short name. Rizex is next up. I think Rizex is a pretty cool name also, and that's why I'm going to put it in A. Rizex in A with Casio. Next up is Raziers. Raziers. I like the name Raziers. Yeah. Oh, is it worthy of an A though? Or is it B? Raziers. I think that's A as well. A is now stacked. It's got the most in it. Next up is Alpha 54. Now this name really annoys me because Alpha on its own would be pretty cool. Or Alpha and maybe another shorter word or a shorter name would be pretty cool. The 54 kind of ruins it a little bit for me, unfortunately. So I'm probably just going to put it in C. Yeah, it's going to go in C, sorry. I do like the word alpha is cool, but the 54 just kind of, yeah, it kind of ruins it a little bit. The only one that can get away with that is KIO2G1 because it stands for the Great One. That's the only one that can get away with it for me. Rhodocin up next. Rhodocin is kind of a good name to say. It rolls off the tongue nicely. Don't know why I keep saying that, to be honest. Yeah, Rhodocin. I think we're going to put Rhodocin in A as well. I quite like that name. Sazin up next. Sazin. I haven't mastered how to say this one yet. I actually haven't learned properly. Yeah, Sazin's going to go in B. Louis P up next. Oh, this one's tough because I kind of want to put it in It's Just a Name, but I didn't with Ocalid. The name Luis in Spanish is a cool name, but I just don't like it here with the P on the end. If it was just Luis, that'd probably actually be a pretty cool name. But it would be It's Just a Name, so I'd probably put it in there. I'm going to put Louis P in D. Sorry. Tho next up. Tho is also going to go in D, I think. Because it's just, I don't know. It's a short name, which I usually like the shorter names, but a couple of the shorter names here I've gone in D because they just don't do anything for me. Maybe it means something in their language. Tho obviously is Dutch, he's from the Netherlands, so it could mean something entirely different in his language. For me, it doesn't mean anything, and so I'm not a big fan. Flame up next. Again, this is one of the shorter names that I like. Flame is a pretty cool name. It's just a normal word, obviously, and nothing special to it, just flame. So I'm going to put it in B, but I'm going to put it near the top of B. We'll put it behind, do you know what, we'll put it second there behind Realize in B. Noah Saki up next. Noah probably is his name. I'd imagine he is from England. And Noah is not a common name in England, but it's a name you hear from time to time. Saki. Not sure what that means. Noah Saki. I like the name Noah Saki though. It's easy to say. Actually, I quite like that. That's A. Let's go in A. Mike Boyer up next. Mike Boyer for me goes in C. Nothing special. Obviously it has a name in it, but with boy at the end, we're going to rate it. So we're going to put it in C. Toxic up next. And I like that there's 2 I's in this name, Toxic. I think that makes it look a little bit cooler. And it just goes well with the game Rocket League, doesn't it? Toxic, you know? So we're going to put that in A. We've still only got 1 name in S+. If we only have 1 name in S+ by the end, I'm going to look to try and bump one of the S tier names up, I think, with To Die For. But we'll see. CB next, I believe that's Charlie B, which is basically a name. And because it's just CB, I'd imagine B is probably his second name, like Louis P, but because it's not just a name on its own, I can't really put it in, it's just a name, so we're going to put it in D, unfortunately. It's just a CB, do you know what I mean? So I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that. Foxy next up. Foxy, yeah, I mean it's okay, it's a decent name, so it goes in B. Decent names go in B, in my opinion. Temper up next, obviously with the E replaced by an X, just to make it look a bit cooler. I assume that's the only reason why players do that. But I like that name. Temper is pretty cool. I'm actually tempted to put that in S, to be honest. Temper. Yeah, we're going to put that in S. Quite like that one. Temper, that's a good one. Arju up next. I don't think Arju is a name. Could be. Oh well. I don't know. So we're going to rate it. We're going to put Arju in B or C. We're going to put it in C for now. Yeah, we're going to put it in C for now. And next up is Methane. I think Methane is a pretty cool name. Don't know if it's a name, an actual name. This is the problem. But I think it's pretty cool. So we're going to look to put it in... We're going to put it in A, but we're going to put it right at the top of A because I do like the name Methane. I could see myself putting it in S, but we're going to put it in A for now. Next up is Smokes. Another pretty cool name in my opinion. I believe that's... Well, Smokes is Methane's teammate as well, just in case you didn't know. And on Sonics. And yeah, I think Smokes is a pretty cool name as well. We're going to also put that in A. We'll put it at the bottom of A. We'll just put it in A there. Breezy up next. Now, Breezy is a cool name because he's literally got a mechanic named after him as well. The Breezy Flick. And I just think the name Breezy, with the way it's spelled, is pretty cool too. I actually think this is worthy of an S. So we're going to put it in S. Yeah, I'm happy with that, putting that in S. Crispy up next. Crispy Don. But it's just Crispy here. So we're going to put Crispy. I actually think this is a pretty cool name as well, Crispy. We're going to put it in A. Yeah, we're going to put it in A. A is just absolutely stacked now. It's taken over this tier list. Zen up next. The golden boy, Zen. Everyone's looking at him at the moment. What is he going to bring to RLCS when he joins next split? If he joins next split. He can't join this split, of course. But Zen, pretty standard 3-letter quick name, but I like it. Sounds cool in English as well, which obviously helps me rate it. So we're going to put Zen in A for now, but we're going to put it near the top of A in between Methane and Darth. I'm happy with that. Again, I am going to come back at the end and go through all these. We've still got a ton of names left, so we're going to try and just get these over with. Oli is next. Don't think it's a name, Oli. So we're going to put it in C. I don't think it's necessarily bad. Again, none of these are bad. Even D isn't bad. It's just I'm not a fan. We're going to put Oli in C though. Devo up next. I've always liked the name Devo. It sounds good in my opinion. I'm actually going to put it Devo in S. Yeah, I like the name Devo. Again, probably going to maybe shift some A's into S, maybe even some S's into S+. I still haven't put another name in S+ yet. I haven't come across a name where I've gone, yeah, that's a really cool name. Yet. There might be some. Emray up next. Emray is a name, isn't it? So that's just going to have to go there, I'm afraid, at the bottom. Simas. I'm not sure if that's how you say it. Simas. We're going to go with Simas. Is next up. I actually quite like that. I don't know what it means. It probably means something in, I believe he's Spanish. I hope I'm not wrong there. Could be French. I think he's Spanish though. I should probably just stop guessing. Simas, for me, goes in A. If that's how you say it, Simas, I think that's worthy of an A. Hibs up next. D for Hibs. Sorry, Hibs. Again, you're probably not watching, so it doesn't really matter too much. But if you are, I do apologise. Well, I don't apologise. It's my opinion. D isn't bad either. So yeah, there's Hib. I don't know if Hibbs is his name either. It might be a second name or something. So we're just gonna put it in D for now. Larsa is up next, or Lacer. I'm not too sure how to say it. Larsa, Lacer. What sounds better? Lacer sounds better, I think. Either way, Larsa, Lacer. I'm gonna put it in B. No, I'm gonna put it in C. Top of C. I might come back to that one. We'll do it at the top of C for now. Ocelon is next up. One of the OGs. He's been around for a long time as Ocelon. And I think his name's pretty cool as well, Ocelon. Sounds like a pretty cool name. We're going to also put that in A with literally everything else. I might bump some of these up actually now. No, we're going to come back at the end when I do it. We'll come back at the end. Stizzy next up. Stizzy is a Spanish player. Stizzy, that's a pretty cool name, I guess. We're going to put it in B. We'll put it towards the top of B between Flame and Snowy. Stizzy might actually be bumped up to A. Might be one of those that goes up. We'll see at the end. VK Salen is next up. I'm going to assume VK might be initials. So I don't know the meaning behind it. So it's hard for me to, I guess, rate it. If it was a cool meaning, then maybe it would go higher, like Kaio, TG1 for example. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the name. If it's just a tag. So we're going to put it in C for now. Metsonorus up next. I've always quite liked the name Metsonorus. I don't know what it means. It might mean something in his language in Finnish, but I'm not entirely sure what it means. But I think it sounds cool. I think it looks cool written down. So B. B is enough for cool, in my opinion. Dying up next. Pretty dark name, Dying. Usually the darker names can be the cool names. So yeah, we're going to put Dying in A for now. Steak up next. Not spelt like the food. Spelt like something else. I don't know how to explain it, but I know it's spelled like something else. Steak. It's just steak, isn't it? I'm going to put it in D because I don't know. Steak. Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. Faris up next. Oh, I should be careful because I don't know if Faris is a name. Do you know what? I'm going to go and look. Bear with me. I can't find anything on Faris for some weird reason. I don't know why, but I can't find it on Wikipedia. Maybe I'm not looking hard enough, but I can't find it. I actually don't mind the name though, Faris. It sounds like a pretty cool name. So we're going to put it in B. Next up is Parker. That could also be a name, but we're going to rate it. Parker also, I think, in B. I believe Faris and Parker are teammates, aren't they? Anyway, yeah. Yukis up next. I don't think I like the name Yukis, to be honest. So it's going to go in C. Econ up next. Econ. Yeah, it's not doing much for me. I don't think. That's also going to go in C. Now, Whiskey Drink is up next. I think Whiskey Drink's a cool name. It's definitely different. We're going to put it at the top of A, actually, Whiskey Drink. It's easy to say. And it's pretty funny as well. So yeah, Whiskey Drink, top of A. Appjack. Should be Apparently Jack. Shouldn't be Appjack. Appjack does sound cooler than Apparently Jack, in my opinion. But his tag is Apparently Jack, not Appjack. So are we going to rate it as Appjack or Apparently Jack? Because that does make a difference. Because Apparently Jack would probably go in C, maybe even D. Probably go in C. But Appjack would probably go in A. So we're going to rate it as I see it here. We're going to rate it as Appjack. Even though I did the same for... See, ZPS, Zombie Poop Shark, I probably would have... If it was just the letters, I would have put it down in D. But I rated it on his actual name. So we're going to do the same with Appjack here. And rate it as his actual name. We're not going to do it as Appjack. We're going to do it as his actual name. Which probably is going to be a bit disappointing. But we're going to put it in C. Because it's Apparently Jack. Do you know what? No, scrap it. We're doing it as I see it, Appjack. I can make the rules. It's my video. Appjack is going in A. Yeah. Daniel is just a name, unfortunately. So I can't rate Daniel. LJ might also just be a name. LJ is his initials. No, it's not his initials. It's not his initials. Sorry, I just accidentally knocked my mic. Sorry about that. LJ isn't his initials, so that's good. I can rate it. C. Nolly up next. I don't think Nolly is a bad name. I don't think it's like a crazy cool name. But it's not a bad name, so probably C as well. Chronic, on the other hand, in my opinion, is a very cool name. And I would consider putting it in S+, with To Die For. Do I do it? We're gonna put Chronic in S+. That might change at the end, or I might add more to S+ at the end. But so far, only 2 in S+, to Die For and Chronic. First Killer next up. Never been a massive fan of the name First Killer. I say that, it's not a bad tag at all. But I don't think it goes any higher than B, in my opinion, First Killer. Actually, it could go in A, couldn't it? We're putting it at the top of B. That might be one of the ones that I come back to. Typical up next. Sounds like typical, but it's not. It's typical. Again, in my opinion, doesn't really do much for me, but I think it's worthy of B. Is it though? Because First Killer is cooler than typical, isn't it? Yeah, First Killer is going to be bumped up to A, I think. We're going to do that now because it is cooler than typical. Yeah, Mist next up. We're going to move typical to the bottom of B actually. Mist next up. Again, very short, sweet name, but in my opinion, not that cool. So we're going to put Mist in C. We're going to put Mist in C for now. Beast Mode for me goes straight into S+. No questions. I think that's a pretty cool name. Looks cool as well. Beast Mode sounds cool. Yeah. To Die For, Chronic, Beast Mode in S+ at the moment. I think I'm quite happy with those 3 in there. Currently, Com is next up. Com, yeah, it's just, you know, I'm sorry, Com. I don't like it. I don't like putting that in D, but yeah. It's just not doing anything for me, I'm afraid. Torment, on the other hand, capitalize that T, it'd be even cooler. But Torment, for me, no questions, goes in S next to his old partner, Gimmick. Gimmick, Torment, cool names. Torment, for me, is a really cool name. Could arguably put in S+. Might come back and do that, we'll see. Arsenal next up. Arsenal's a pretty cool name, in my opinion. I think that's deserving of an A. I think that's deserving of a high A, actually. Put A for Arsenal at the top of A. Jnaps next. I think he's used his name here, his real name for this. Obviously, it's not his name, Jnaps, but you know what I mean. He's implemented his real name somewhere. It might just be in the initials. Jnaps. For me, I'm going to put it in C. We're going to put it at the top of C, though. I think Amphis probably needs to be bumped up to B. We're going to do that right now. Amphis goes in B. Yan next up, or Yanks as it's spelled here. Everyone says Yan, so I'm going to assume that we say it as Yan. I think Yan probably is his name. So we say it as Yan. So maybe I should be putting this in It's Just a Name. Okay, I know that's not how you spell his real name with X and Z on the end, but we say it as Yan, and Yan is his name. So we're gonna, I believe it's his name. So we're gonna put it in It's Just a Name because we're saying it as his name, you know. Same with Ivan, you know, it's not how he spells his name, but we're saying it as Ivan. So I'm not gonna rate their names, like I said at the beginning. Lost next up. I think this is a pretty cool name. I think that's worthy of A. Lost is going to be put in A there. Chicago next up. Obviously a place in the States. And Chicago. Chicago is a pretty cool name, actually. We're going to put Chicago in A as well. A is absolutely stacked at the moment. Atomic next up. Now, I did say I preferred the Atomic with a K. I put Atomic with a K in A. So Atomic with a C goes in B. That's how it works. Atomic for me, Atomic C, doesn't look, obviously they sound the same, but it doesn't look as cool as Atomic K. So that's why I'm bumping it down to B. Justin up next. It's a name. I assume Justin, yeah, of course it's his name. What am I on about? Justin, yeah, that's got to go and It's Just a Name. Even though it's not spelt, like I said, because it sounds like Justin. It sounds the same as how he would spell his name. It's got to go and It's Just a Name, unfortunately. Garrett G up next. Garrett is also his name. But because of the G on the end, similar with Louis P and O'Khalid, we're going to rate it. And I think actually Garrett G is a pretty cool name. Oh, I'm actually tempted to put it in S, you know. Yeah, we're going to put Garrett G in S. I think that's an S tier name right there. Why not? Squishy next up. Cool name, Squishy, in my opinion. Don't think it's on the level of S, but we're going to put it at the top of A, just so I don't get killed in my sleep tonight. Next up is AJG. It's just letters put together, so it's hard for me to really rank it. These kind of names go in D. Same with CR as well. I mean, CR is so hard to say as well as an aspiring caster. Trying to say CR is like my worst nightmare. Sorry, CR, I really am sorry. I'm sure it stands for something, and maybe I just don't know, because it probably stands for something in this language, so I can only apologize. If it does stand for something, it might be really cool. Again, I can only apologize. AJG, they might just be initials, you know, I genuinely don't know. So anyway, their teammate is next up, Raise Ball. And this, for me, is one of those names that can go into S+. Raise Ball is a really cool name, in my opinion. One of the coolest names in the game, in RLCS currently. Card, next up. I think I'll put Card in C. Card. You know what? We're going to put Card in D. Yeah, I'm sorry, Card. Buddy can probably be pushed up to C. I can't get Card at the top of D, so we're just going to put it there. Yeah, we're putting Card in D. I can only apologise. AJ up next. Now, this is a awkward one, because AJ obviously is a name, but it's not his name. Okay, AJ's real name is Austin, so do I rank it and still offend all the AJs out there? Possibly. Or do I just put it in, it's just a name, because technically it is just a name, but because it's not his name, I don't know whether to rank it or not. We're going to rank it, because I think AJ is actually a pretty cool name, so we're going to rank it. I'm not really going to offend anyone here. We're going to put it right at the top of B, because that could arguably go in A, but we're going to put it right at the top of B for now. Cheese is up next. Cheese goes in C. Some people probably love that name, not for me. It goes in C. Zanil up next. I don't know if Zanil is a name. Okay, Zanil is part of his second name, but it's shortened. So we're going to roll with it. We're going to roll with it. And I think it's actually pretty cool. We're going to put it in B. Zanil goes in B. Rettles up next. Now, if you just looked at the name Rettles and said it, you'd go, yeah. But because I know the meaning behind it, and a lot of people do, it's actually, well, technically it's his name, isn't it? Well, no, it's not his name. It's his name backwards, so we're not going to put it in. It's just a name. But Rettles' name is Slater. And obviously, Slater backwards is Rettles. And I think that's very cool. Now, I don't think the name Rettles like sounds necessarily cool. I don't think it sounds bad, but I don't necessarily think it sounds cool. But because of the meaning behind it, it gives it some extra points, in my opinion. And it might actually go in A because of that. Yeah, we're going to put it in A. Actually, the name Rettles actually sounds okay without the meaning. So I probably would have put it in B, but because it's his name, or it's his first name, and it's later backwards, it goes in A. Magic Bear next up. Magic Bear. I think this is going to go in C, but we're going to put it at the top of C because I feel like I could put it in B. We're going to put it in C for now. Two Piece next up. I think Two Piece is a pretty cool name. Very similar to Die For, I guess, in a way, because of the two. That's the only thing that is similar. But we're going to put it in S. I don't think it's as cool as To Die For, but it is a cool name. So Two Piece is going to go in S. And we're going to go up Path next. Now, this name, Path, I know there's a Parthenax somewhere, which obviously is the talking dragon out of Skyrim, if you didn't know. But I don't know if Path and Parthenax are the same people. So I've seen a Parthenax in some replays at the top, like SSL sort of thing. And I don't know if that's Path. I don't know if it's the same person and he shortened his name down. So we're going to rate it on Path, although Parthenax, if it is him, is, in my opinion, an S+ name. But for me, Path is a B name. Just Path, yeah, it's just a B name for me. It looks cool. We're going to put it at the top of B because it looks cool. But I don't think it deserves an A. I don't think it deserves an A. Memory up next. It's just a standard word, memory. All lowercase, which sometimes I don't mind, but it depends. So memory for me goes in C. Hoxa up next. Hoxa. Sounds like I'm about to spit Hoxa. Yeah, I don't know if I'm a fan of this one either, to be honest. Actually, it's better than D. We're going to put it in C. We're going to put Hoxa in C. Actually, Hoxa could go B, couldn't it? No, Hoxa's going in C. We're putting it at the top of C, though. Money next up. That's going into C as well because it's just a word. It's very similar to memory. Expert. Cool name because I like the way it's spelt as well. I actually think that's worthy of an A, expert, just purely because the word expert is pretty cool anyway, and then it's spelt like that, which is pretty cool. I would have liked to be capitalized like the X, or maybe the P, and left everything else lowercase, but hey ho, he's gone full lowercase. So I'm going, by the way, I didn't make this tier list, so I'm assuming that this tier list is spot on. Although I believe Exotic here, I've just noticed, has a capital K, doesn't he? At the end. I could be wrong. Sosa next up. Don't think Sosa's a name, but I don't think it's amazingly cool. So we're gonna put it in D. I did have it in C. We'll put it in C. We'll keep it in C. Oath next up. I think this is a pretty cool name. Oath. Sounds pretty cool. Looks pretty cool, I guess. Don't think it's A worthy, so we're gonna put it in B with the other sort of cool names. Gyro up next. Now I think Gyro is actually a cool name, so that deserves an A in my opinion. Yeah, I quite like the name Gyro. I like the way it's spelled, obviously, because that's how you spell it. Capitalized G, which also helps in my opinion. Capitalizing the first letter, in my opinion, helps. Knight. Next up, I've already rated a knight, haven't I? Where did I put it? That's the real question. Did I put it in A? I can't see where I put knight. Oh, B, there he is. So I guess technically I've got to put this one in B as well. Although I prefer the way the other one's spelt, the double T and the X as well. But because they sound the same, I am bumping them up, aren't I, on how they look. We're going to put the other knight at the top of C then. I probably should put it at the bottom of B, but we're going to put it at the top of C for now. How do you say this name? Is it Fefi? Fifi? Fefe? I don't know how to say it. I genuinely don't know how to say it. Either way, I'm not a fan, to be honest. So we're going to put it in D. T-Corel up next. Again, probably his name, but because it's not his name. Oh my god, I'm not very good at explaining this. You understand. I think you kind of understand what I mean by now if you're this far in the video, if you're still here, if you're still awake. T-Corel is a cool name. We're going to put T-Corel in A. There's so many names, oh my god. Okay, Lion Blaze. Also a pretty cool name in my opinion. We're definitely going to have to bump some A's into S here because there's a lot of A's. Lion Blaze might be one of them. So we're going to put Lion Blaze at the top. Put T-Corel somewhere near the top as well. Kinsei up next. Kinsei is a pretty cool name as well in my opinion. We're going to put it bottom of A. No, we're going to put it top of B. Kinsei. Nah, it's going to go bottom of A. Kinsei is a pretty cool name. Percy. Is that his name? Is Percy his name? We're going to have a look. Okay, his real name's Oliver, so that's a really good name actually, Oliver. Percy though, isn't his name, so we can rate it. I'm going to put it in top of C, I think, Percy. We'll put it in B actually. It's better than some of the names in C. Yeah, we're putting Percy in B. Andy obviously is a name, so it's going to go in, it's just a name. Evo, in my opinion, is a cool name, and that goes in A. It's worthy of an A. Drees. Is that A or is that B? It's definitely one of them. Drees is a cool name. I'm going to put it in B for now. Drees. Yeah, we'll put it in B for now. Aqua. Next up. I quite like the name Aqua as well. We're going to put that lower B. I don't think it's setting the world alight necessarily with its coolness, but lower B is fair in my opinion. Vatira up next. I don't know if Vatira stands for something in French, but it's a cool name, so it goes in S. I think Vatira is a cool name, and that is worthy of an S in my opinion. So we're going to put it there. Oski next up. I actually think Oski could be an S as well, you know. Yeah, we're putting Oski in S as well. Yeah, we're putting Oski in S as well. I think that's a pretty cool name. Atto next up. Not as cool as Oski, in my opinion. Ignore that if you heard that. Atto goes in C. Yeah, we're putting Atto in C. Itachi. Cool name. Does it go in S? Possibly. Yes, it does. We're putting Itachi in S tier. I think that's a cool name. Exotic up next. I like the way it's spelt. I always thought Exotic had a capitalized K at the end. I guess I'm wrong, assuming that this is 100% correct. We're going to put Exotic at the top of A. because I don't think it's quite as cool as some of the S tiers. So we're going to put it at the top of A. Joyo up next. I think Joyo can go in B, just behind Drees. Yeah, well, I'm happy with that. I don't really have any much else to say. Astral up next is at least A, although I'm tempted to put him in S as well. Yeah, we're putting Astral in S. I think that's a very cool name. Astral sounds good. Juicy up next. C doesn't really do much for me. Sorry, Juicy. Joreas up next. This is cool because it's kind of his name, but it's not. His name's Joris, and it's spelled different than Joreas, obviously. But I like the name the way Joreas is spelled. I like the way it's spelled. And it sounds cool as well. So let's also going in S tier. A few S tiers here at the end. And to finish it off, Archie is a name. Rise. C. Not a massive fan of that one, to be honest. And a Chronic, I think could actually go in S+, you know. A Chronic. Because I've put Chronic in there. So a Chronic. Sounds similar. I'm putting a Chronic in S+ to round off this list. That was the last name of this list. Okay, let's have a quick look through. So obviously at the bottom, the names that are just names go in It's Just a Name, of course. D, Buddy, Card, Sad, KV1, TRK. I think we could move Buddy to C. We're going to put Buddy in C. I think I was a little bit harsh there. But with the rest, maybe Louis P could go in C as well. Yeah, we're going to put Louis P in C. Because I think I was a bit harsh there. But the rest can stay here. I'm happy with the rest staying in D. C, can I move anyone up or maybe anyone down? I'm tempted to move LJ down because it's just 2 letters, you know, LJ. But then it does roll off the tongue quite easily. We'll keep LJ there in C, I think. Can anyone else be moved down? No, I don't think so. Can anyone be moved up? Tempted to move Alpha up, but the 54 just ruins it, which is kind of annoying for me. I think Drew. We'll put Drew in B. We'll put Drew in B. I think that's fair to move that one up. I think everybody else can stay there though. Actually, Econ can go in B as well. Yeah. Okay, I'm happy with the rest of that, I think. B. Can anyone be moved up at B? I did have a few names at the top here, didn't I? But I've got so much in A that I don't really want to put anyone else in A. So I think we're going to keep B as it is. Actually, looking at it, I'm happy with how that looks. Yeah, we're going to keep B. We're going to keep B as it is. A, there's so many names. I reckon we can move a couple up here. And maybe even a couple down into B as well. Exotic could go in S, but I don't think it's as cool as these S tier names that we have. Lion Blaze could definitely also go in S. We're going to put Lion Blaze in S. Yeah, we're going to put Lion Blaze in S. I think that's fair to move him into S. Squishy can stay in A. Arsenal can stay in A. Whiskey Drink can stay in A. Metane, Zen, Darth. Yeah, I think this is okay. These are okay. The A ones can stay in A, in my opinion. Yeah, they can stay in A. S, can anyone be put into S+? Can they be put into S+? Let's see. Gimmick is a cool name. Torment, very cool. Astromic, Kalias, Torsos, Seiko, Catalysm, Gom, Temper, Breezy, Devo, Garrett G, Two Piece, Vatira, Oski, Itachi, Astral, Jorez, and Lion Blaze. I'm going to move. What name am I going to move? I do want to move a couple of names, maybe just one. I think I'm going to move Torment into S+, because I do think that's a really cool name, personally. Even better if the T was capitalized, like I said earlier. But we're going to put Torment in there anyway. And maybe Seiko, maybe Two Piece. We're going to put Seiko in there as well. So I like the way it's spelt and what it's kind of referencing. I like that. So S+ then is reserved for To Die For, Chronic, Beast Mode, Raise Ball, Achronic, Torment, and Seiko. I think that's fair. I don't think I'm going to move any of them down. I'm happy with the ones that I've got in there. The only one I'd consider moving down is maybe Achronic. Because I think Chronic sounds cooler. But we're going to keep Achronic in there because I like the way it's spelled with K at the end. Also thought that was meant to be a capitalized K at the end as well, Chronic, but I could be totally wrong. Similar to Exotic. But either way, this is my tier list on who I think has the coolest names. So we've got the S to B here. I can't fit it all on the screen, unfortunately. Then down here, lower down. But yeah, pause it and have a look if you want. And tell me what you think is the ultimate coolest name in RLCS. If it isn't any of the S+ ones that I've put, then I'd like to hear your opinion on who you think is really cool. Anyone in A that you think is really cool? You know, obviously Kaio. Do you know what? Actually, I've just noticed Kaio. So I'm gonna move up Kaio to S, because I think that's the great one is pretty cool. I think that makes it S tier, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't think many people will disagree. I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, let me know what you think is the ultimate coolest name in RLCS currently. And if you did enjoy this tier list, and if you got this far, I do really appreciate it. I'm sure a lot of you would have skipped to the end. That's totally fine. I would probably do the same, because this is going to be about an hour long. So I don't blame you for skipping to the end if you did. But I appreciate you clicking on the video either way and giving it a chance. Let me know what you think is the coolest name. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And thank you so much for watching. I will speak to you all very, very soon.